Good morning to all. Myself, Professor T.M. Divakar, working as Assistant Professor in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering in Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Ichaganji. So today we are going to see the Declaration of Independence and Rights of Citizen. So let us come to the point. So Declaration of the Rights of Man and a Citizen, it is set by France's National Constituent Assembly in 1789, and it is a human civil rights documents from the French Revolution. The second point is that the declaration was adopted by the Abbé Savage and the Marquis de Lafayette in consultations with the Thomas Jeffersons. Influenced by the doctrine of natural rights and the right of man are held to be the universal, valid at all time and in every place, pertaining to human nature itself. It became the basis for a nation of free individuals protected equally by the law, and it is included in the beginning of the constitution of both the Fourth French Republican in 1946 and Fifth Republican in 1958, and is still current. So it is inspired by the Enlightenment philosophers, and the declarations was a core statement of the values of French revolutions and a major impact on the development of popular conceptions of individual liberty and democracy in Europe and worldwide. So this is about the history of the Declaration of the Rights. The content of the document emerged largely from the ideals of the Enlightenment, and the principal drafts were prepared by Lafayette, working at times with his close friends Thomas Jefferson. In August 1789, Honoré Mirabeau played a central role in conceptualizing and drafting the Declaration of Rights of Man and of the Citizen. The last article of the Declaration of the Rights of the Man and the Citizen was adopted on the 26th of August 1789 by the National Constituent Assembly during the period of French Revolution as the first step towards writing a constitution for France. So it is inspired by the Enlightenment. The original version of the declaration was discussed by the representative on the basis of a 24 articles draft, and it is proposed by the 6th Bureau led by Jerome Champion D.C. Size. The draft was later modified using the debates. The second and lengthier declarations, known as Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen of 1793, and it was written in 1793 but never formally adopted. The philosophical and theoretical context. The concept in the declaration came from the philosophical and political duties of the Enlightenments, such as an individualism, the social contract as theorized by the genuine philosopher Rousseau, and the separation of the powers is posed by the Baron de Montesquieu. As it can seen in the text, the French declarations was heavily influenced by the political philosophy of the Enlightenment and principles of human rights, as was the US Declaration of Independence and which is preceded in 4th July 1776. So, according to the legal textbook published in 2007, the declaration is in the spirit of secular natural law, which does not base itself on religious doctrine or authority, in contrast with the traditional natural law theory, which does. So, there are the articles based on the Declaration of the Rights and Rights of Citizens. So, article number 1, men are born and remain free and equal in rights. Social distinctions can be founded only on the common goods. Article number 2, the goal of any political association is the conservation of the natural and imprescriptible rights of man. So, these rights are liberty, property, safety and resistance against the oppressions. Article number 3, the principle of any sovereignty resides essentially in the nations. So, nobody, no individual may exercise any authority which does not proceed directly from the nation. Article number 7, liberty consists of doing anything which does not harm others. Thus, the exercise of the natural rights of each man has only those borders which acquires other members of the society. These borders can be determined only by the laws. Article number 5, the laws has the right to forbid only action harmful to the society. Anything which is not forbidden by the law cannot be impeded, and no one can be constrained to do what it does not order. Article number 6, the law is the expression of the general will. All the citizens have the rights of contributing personally or through their representative to its formations. Article number 7 says that no man can be accused, arrested nor detained but in the cases determined by the law and according to the forms which it has prescribed. So, those who solicit, dispatch, carry out or cause to be carried out arbitrary orders and must be punished, but any citizen called or seized under the terms of the laws must obey at once. He rendered himself. Article number 8, the law should establish only penalties that are strictly and evidentially necessary, and no one can be punished but under the law established and promulgated before the offences and legally applied. Article number 9, any man being presumed innocent until he is declared culpable, if it is judged indispensable to arrest him, any rigor which would not be necessary for the securing of his person must be severely reprimanded by the law. No one may be disputed for his opinion, even religious ones, provided that their manifestation does not trouble the public order which is established by the law. Article number 11, the free communication of the thoughts and of opinions is one of the most precious rights of man. So, any citizen thus may speak, write, print freely, except to respond to the abuse of this liberty in the cases of determined by the law. Article number 12, The guarantees of the rights of man and the citizens necessitates the public force, and this force is thus instituted for the advantage of all and not for the particular utility of those in whom it is trusted. Article number 13, for the maintenance of the public force and for the expenditure of administrations, a common contribution is indispensable. It must be equally distributed to all the citizens according to their ability to pay. Article number 15, each citizen has the right to ascertain by himself or through his representatives the need for the public tax, to consent to it freely, to know the uses to which it is put, and of determining the proportion, basis, collection and duration. Article number 16, the society has the right of requesting an account from any public agent of its administration. Article number 17, any society in which the guarantee of rights is not assured nor the separation of powers determined, and it has no constitution. Article number 18, the property being an inviolable and sacred rights, no one can be deprived of private uses if it is not when the public necessity legally noted eventually requires it, and under the condition of just and prior indemnity. So these are the active and passive citizenship. So while the French revolutions provided rights to a larger portion of the populations, there remained a distinct between those who obtained the political rights in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen and those who did not. Those who were deemed to hold these political rights were called active citizens. So in this active citizenship was granted to men who were French and at least 25 years old, paid taxes equal to 3 days works, and could not be defined as servants. This meant that at the time of declarations only main property owners held these rights. So the deputies in the National Assembly believed that only those who held tangible interests in the nations could make informed political decisions. This distinction directly affects Article 6, 12, 14 and 15 of the Declaration of the Rights of the Man and Citizens, as each of these rights is related to the right to vote and to participate actively in the governments. So with the decrees of 29 October 1789, the term active citizen became embedded in French politics, and the concept of passive citizens was created to emphasize those populations that had been excluded from political rights. Next one is the Constitution of the French Fifth Republic. So according to the preamble of the constitutions of the French Fifth Republic, the principles set forth in the declarations have constitutional value. Many laws and regulations have been cancelled because they did not comply with those principles as interpreted by the Conseil Constitutional or by the Conseil d'Etat, that is the Council of State, and Constitutional Council of France. So taxations, legislations of or practices that seems to make some unwarranted difference between the citizens are struck down as unconstitutional. So suggestions of positive discriminations on ethnic grounds are rejected because they infringe on the principle of equality, since they would establish categories of peoples that would or by birth enjoy greater rights. The next French Revolution. The revolution exploded in France in the summer of 1789. After many decades of ideological ferment, political declines, and social unrest, ideologically thinkers of the Enlightenment urged that government should promote the greatest good of all peoples, not the narrow interests of the particular elites. They were hostile to the political powers of the Roman Catholic Church as well as the tax exemptions and landed power of the aristocracy. Their remedies were diverse, ranging from the outright democracy to more efficient monarchy, but they joined in insisting on greater religion and cultural freedom. So, some kind of parliamentary institute and greater equality under the law. Enlightenment writings were widely disseminated, reaching many urban groups in France and elsewhere. The monarchy was in bad shape even aside from new attacks. Its finances were severely pressed, particularly after the war of the mid 18th century and French involvement against the Britain during the American revolutions. The Enlightenment writings were widely disseminated, reaching many urban groups in France and elsewhere. So, monarchy was in bad shape even aside from the new attacks. Its finances were severely pressed, particularly after the wars of the mid 18th century and French involvement against the Britain during the American revolutions. Next one, efforts to the reform the tax structures founded against the opposition of the aristocracy. Finally, various groups in France were pressed by economic and social change. Aristocrats wanted the new political rights against the royal power. Middle class people sought a political voice to match their commercial importance, and the government more friendly to their interests. And the pleasant majority, pressed by population growth, sought access to the lands of the aristocracy and the church, an end to remaining manorial dues and services, and relief from the taxations.